everything.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the whatever the fuck day it is, Monday edition of Moohead Radio. I'm your host, Hey Big and Furry Bovine, still recovering from a virus. I'll tell you, this is a motherfucker. They should name this virus the motherfucker.
The motherfucker. Yeah.
Oh my god! So
how bad is it?
My throat is fine. My voice is fine. I sound like I normally would, but my rib cage, my top of my back and my neck, and some of the lymph nodes in my chest are sore to the touch. Oh my god, I'm fucked up.
Wow.
So I don't know.
Grim.
Yeah, whatever the hell it is, and joining me on the program today is one of my friends, the Black Claw of Death. He's hanging around just in case I keel over, which is kind of one of those.
Who's he for? Jimmy Haslam and D.
Well, I can't point him at anybody anymore, you know?
Oh, you can't.
Now, I
something random might happen.
Before I came on the air, I switched microphones at Hammer Time's urging. And so now I should sound like I did the last show. I should, but
you sound fine now.
Yeah, there's no consistency to anything, so I just do the best that I can. All right, today we talk about a few things. We start out the program with this sickening news: the top best-selling NBA jersey belongs to who?
Steph Curry.
Nope.
No, it's got to be what's his name? It just went to the Lakers.
Yep, Luka Doncic. Yep, it sure is. Fat boy, doughboy.
Yeah,
that's all you have to do is go to the Lakers. What the hell was this fat fuck crying for when he left Dallas? What is he crying for?
He is a pretty good player. I mean,
I don't care. I don't care.
Because now he's on the Lakers. I mean, it's like going to the Yankees, you know?
It's sickening is what it is. But yep, that's the best-selling jersey. That's just lovely. And of course, number 2 was
NBA.
Steph Curry.
You think?
That's right, Steph Curry. And who was number 3?
LeBron.
This is like
LeBron James. Am I in
feud.
a fucking time warp? Luka, the fat fuck who eats too many marshmallows and he looks like the Stay Puft guy. So he's the concession to youth, okay? But we still have to deal with this Steph Curry and LeBron James and like Ian Anderson and Jethro Tull were living in the past. It's pathetic.
Wow.
By the way, here are the rest of the top 10. You ready?
Okay. What do you want me to try to name them?
Yeah. Who then was number 4?
Jason Tatum.
That's right.
That makes sense.
A guy in England who knows shit about basketball is coming up with these one after another. Then you know how predictable this is. Okay. Now we're really getting into crazy land. Who's number 5?
Anthony Davis.
Well, your streak left. You have any idea, Hammer?
How about the Greek Freak? Let's go Anakupis.
Ooh.
No.
Like
this is what makes
who it should be is SAG, but it's probably not.
It will be. He's not even the top.
No,
10.
SGA. SAG.
SAG. That's a union.
No, I'm not going to make an X-Y.
That's a screen actor skill.
It should be, it should be SGA, but it's not.
Number 5,
Michael
Jalen
Jordan.
Brunson of the Knicks.
Jalen Brunson.
Oh, there you go.
Next, well, now I'm not. I'll just read them. Victor Wembanyama.
Hey,
okay,
he's hurt. He's dead.
a young guy, though. You know.
Then the Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards.
Oh God.
Then the Memphis Grizzlies,
Ja Morant.
And then SGA.
Okay.
SGA.
And then Nuggets, Jokic. All right, so there you have.
No Giannis. Yeah, no Giannis.
I just so don't care.
I know why Giannis isn't in the top 10 because they
Giannis
don't want to
is-
spend the money on the letters.
I
Yeah,
just
the letters
told
are
you
too expensive.
Giannis is 11.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice to know. I'd like to know where Tristan Thompson is.
Somehow
here's
he
a-
missed
Here's a headline for you. Charles Lee, he's not a martial artist. He's the coach of the Charlotte Hornets. Had a message that he wanted to get off his chest. And here it is. LaMelo Ball must get stronger.
That's earth shattering.
He's challenging his star. 6'7", 190 pounds. He would, in some parts of the world, be living in a desert, starving to death.
With that belly that sticks out, and the flies all over his eyelids.
In the eyes.
Yeah,
Flies
yeah.
in the eyes. Yep.
Flies in the eyes.
Insane in the membrane.
Little Haji a sandwich.
Yeah. So here you have a 6'7", 190 pound guy, and players were
190
pushing him around
pounds.
all over the floor, pushing him on the other side of the ball. They go right after him immediately, attack him off the dribble, yada, yada, yada. And the guy's a ball hog, and he takes terrible percentage shots, okay? But, Charles Lee gets it. He took one look of a season with LaMelo Ball and says, God only knows you're weak sauce, man.
Wow.
Get in the gym. Why won't somebody tell that to Darius Garland? Why can't we be honest about this in Cleveland and just tell the truth that Darius Garland wears down in the ends of seasons because he refuses to live in the gym in the off season? He'd rather go to wherever it is he's going and to have a nice little holiday away from basketball. And that's all well and good, but you're never going to be great doing that. And you're going to be a perpetual disappointment. And oh, yes, this is the second year in a row I've said this. Nothing has changed my mind. And, everyone's saying, well, the reason that he had the big slowdown last year was because he had a broken jaw and he lost weight. Well, here we are. No broken jaw. Eating full diet. And there's don't push me. Don't push me. You see him, and there's two things that light up every Cavs opponent. Their eyes light up. If Garland is in the game, they go right at Garland. All right. And they back him down. All right. That's the first thing. Thank God for Evan Mobley. Then there's the second scenario where Sam Merrill's on the floor and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, they just zone right in on him too. Right? God forbid if Darius Garland, if they're on the floor together,
I don't think they
Sam
ever
Merrill
are,
and
though.
Darius Garland, could you imagine? That would be like a Thanksgiving Day feast. Yeah. So somebody should be honest with Darius to say, get your ass in the gym. If you stop talking about championships, stop talking about this shit, you got to act the part too. And if you were offended by LeBron James taking warm-up shots and warm-ups without a shirt on, take a look at his body, Darius. And you know what you look like? You look like one of those Biafran children from an old UNICEF commercial. That's what you look like compared.
Wow.
I mean,
That's hard.
oh, it is, but I'm sorry. I mean, if Chris Paul can play in the goddamn league until he's damn near 40 years old and has beefed up to last that long, I'm not saying that Chris Paul is even a shadow of what he once was, but still, if you want to have a lasting career, it's what you'll have to do. It's part of the job. So,
well,
Charles Lee's honest.
I mean, you have a point about DG because he may very well be the highest paid player on the Cavaliers. I
Yep.
believe he is. I'm not 100% sure of that. But yeah.
And Rick is correct. Is Sally Struthers still alive, or does she starve to death?
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure she's still around.
Yeah. It's amazing. You read and you say, oh my God, I'm watching a TV. I love to watch TV shows, that are old.
She's still alive.
She is still alive. There you go.
Wow.
77.
All right. Well, that's good. But, I'm sitting there and no spoilers because I just started watching Godfather of Harlem with Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, good show. Ooh.
Yeah. Well, and it's off to a racing first 2 episodes. I mean, really good. I mean, this is right up there with Sopranos and that kind of stuff,
Watch the whole thing. It is fantastic.
Well, it's not over yet, is it? I mean, they're releasing now as of the week of this week, the 4th season.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, that's what I'm reading. That's what I'm reading.
I've never heard of
years,
this program.
They started 2019, then 2021, 2023, and 2025. There's supposed to be this week a new season of it. But the thing that bummed me out was, in 2019, seeing Paul Sorvino on the screen, it brought back really great memories. But I said, something is tugging, at my hoof, saying, Paul Sorvino's dead now. Now, Myra Sorvino is still alive, but Paul is stiff and in a morgue. And sure enough, he did. He died in 2022. So, but it's not hard when you have a gangster show to kill off one of the stars, Easy.
Wow.
You
So
know,
what media company makes this program? Because I've never heard of it.
It's on a stream. It's streaming, and I don't know which.
Hulu, MGM Plus.
Oh, no wonder I haven't heard of it.
I watched it on Hulu.
Yeah, it's good. I recommend if you haven't seen it, then you're as slow and behind the times as I am. But yeah, having fun with that.
I'm more behind than you are then.
Yeah, you're more of a behind than I am.
Really? I think you got a bigger behind than I do.
I that is true.
I mean, for a cow,
Exactly. I'm a moose, but I got, I probably weigh as much as LaMelo Ball, actually, and I'm a foot shorter.
LaMelo Ball, you take fewer shots. That's for damn sure. The only person who takes, you know who takes the least shots?
Who?
RFK
JFK, yeah.
I went that way with it. You see,
it's going to be MLK, RFK, JFK. If your name ends in K, you're
KKK.
Yeah, you're going to get shot at some point.
So I want to read off some names to you because these are all the people who
Chico Simone.
No, that's your name. To me, it's really funny. Mel Kiper Jr. has been talking about quarterbacks since Hector was a pup. But here are the names of the last 35.
Do I get to guess whether they're white or black?
No. What you have, you just listen to the names. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels. And you know what the interesting thing is? And I'll just give you a synopsis. This is what he said about Caleb Williams. He's incredibly creative, which is not something we can usually say of quarterbacks. I didn't see, but the only creativity I saw is when he go, trying to run away from people. Jaden Daniels, who was really good, right? Yeah. Here was his comment. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He lacks ideal size and arm talent, but he's much more capable as a runner and passer than most of the quarterbacks that have moved on to the next level. He's positioned to become a very good NFL starter in a spread-based passing attack. Well, that happened a lot sooner than they thought. Then there's Drake May. That was the third pick in 2024 for the New England Patriots. All right.
Is he still alive?
I mean, May has a flamethrower arm, ideal size, and very good mobility. If anybody's has anything to say about him, I wouldn't, because quite honestly, Michael Penix, he got his chance because they're, Kirk Cousins, bye-bye. His arm confidence and willingness to attack every square inch of the field is a productive formula. Then J.J. McCarthy.
Oh, God.
Imagine a state that gave in to McCarthyism.
Yeah.
He's confident and seems to have the ability to take slights and digest it as competitive fuel. He sucks. Bo Nix. All right.
Well, Bo ended up having a good year.
That's right. His coaches rave about his leadership and toughness. His combination of competitiveness, intelligence, and experience reminds me of Jalen Hurts coming out of college. I'm not sure that's much of a compliment, but I don't know. Then there's Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Number 1 pick in 2023.
Is he still?
If Young can maintain his health, he should quickly emerge as a quality starting quarterback in the NFL. Oh, he's been healthy, all right. CJ Stroud put a stamp on his college tenure in a big way with the second highest graded game of his career against Georgia. He has the accuracy and anticipation to thrive in the NFL. So far, he has. And I don't even think, Kuiper said that Anthony Richardson was very raw. You can't coach his talent and physical ability, and NFL coaches will see the tools and try to develop him. Well, so far, nobody can develop somebody who doesn't have drive. And this I say for you, Cleveland fans, Browns fans. The only first-round quarterback in the 2022 draft coming out of the University of Pittsburgh, Little Hands, Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett.
He can make all the throws, but he'll only be able to execute against disguised fronts and NFL pressure if he's willing to hang in the pocket and win with his eyes first. He carries a boom-bust label. Well, now it's bust because he's in Cleveland.
Heavy emphasis on the bust.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then Trevor Lawrence has an extremely high ceiling, and Flora as a very good player who's going to start for a long time. He's not going to win, but he's going to start. Zach Wilson.
Wow.
We've seen better competition from Fields, and they're comparing him with Justin Fields in terms of what he's gone up against the last 2 years. But I think Wilson is a better player than Fields. When it gets down to this, you're splitting hairs. And then Trey Lance, and then Mac Jones, and then Joe Burrow, which we know became him, and Tua. It's like, where am I? Where am I? Who am I?
Whatever happened to Will Levis? Does he not even make the list?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. It's like you start looking at these names recently. Then Daniel Jones was a man. Dwayne Haskins.
Dwayne! He's dead, I think.
Cross him off then.
Oh, I love those. Tastes good. Yep. Baker Mayfield. Sam Darnold. At any rate, I am doing this to make a point. You can talk about quarterbacks from now until you're blue in the face, folks.
And I'm done talking about quarterbacks. Oh,
yeah. Because I don't want a quarterback. I don't want a quarterback. We have plenty of quarterbacks. We have plenty of
should we get one now? We haven't had one in years.
No, I mean, let's lose, man. Let's lose. That's one thing we can count on Jimmy for. He'll lose, man. Which is fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
You got two quarterbacks. You've got Joe Flacco, and you've got Little Hands. That's who you got. And it's no worse than having DTR, because that was what some people were talking about. Why don't you just hand over the reins to DTR? You want to talk about something that nobody would want to talk about? Jimmy Haslam, if he started DTR, that would be the worst white on black crime that I could imagine, because he wouldn't last for 3 weeks.
Wow.
Poor little guy. For God's sakes. Yeah, you can name all these quarterbacks, and none of these people, the so-called talking heads and experts, have any fucking idea whatsoever how good or how bad they're going to be. You can all say, oh, I want this guy, and oh, I want, give me Travis Hunter. Give me a receiver, please. For once, get a player who could be in a position to be in the league for 12 years, please. I beg of you. Take all of this goddamn analytics shit and shove it up your ass and just take a look at the obvious best receiver and nab him. The thing that's funny, I was reading an article that's projecting that he is going to go, he being Travis Hunter, as low as number 12.
No way.
No, I'm just telling you.
Wow.
So, and I was reading an interesting article about the Browns situation. And let's see if I can find this. It's really ridiculous. It makes you just say, oh no, not this again. All right. Here it is. So far, here's what the Cleveland Browns have invited by position that they're talking to. 5 quarterbacks, 5 receivers, and 4 defensive tackles. All right. And it sounds like, hey, they're trying to do something with their offense. 5 of the receivers, 3 of them were tight ends. I'm not making this up. Nothing changes.
Well, that's a Kevin Stefanski.
Gary Barnage. Bring back Gary
Can we
Barnage.
get a tackle maybe?
Yeah, I was thinking that, but no, we can't have nice things.
I know it's not a pretty thing. There really isn't one to pick at the very beginning of the draft, but it's somewhere in the first 3-4 rounds. They need to get somebody to keep whatever quarterback they have back there upright.
Yeah.
And there's
So
Tony.
we got a Tony sighting?
Either. So LSU's Mason Taylor, the number 3 ranked tight end.
Number 3 tight end.
He visited Cleveland, right? He visited. And there were 2 other tight ends, right?
As opposed to LSU's wide receiver who visited the Lord, but we're not going to go there.
No.
Ooh.
Talking about not wanting to face the law. I fought the law and the law won. Almighty, I mean, you started reading the story before they even said, well, it was suicide, And it's like, it was suicide, man. Yeah, he killed somebody and left the scene of the accident, and God only knows what happened after that. So, and it's too bad. You hate to see a 24-year-old guy, but an eye for an eye. Fair enough. That's all I have to say about that. All right. As for Taylor, he's one of 3 known tight ends the Browns have hosted, including Miami's Elijah Arroyo and Bowling Green's Harold Fannin.
Another great name.
Yeah.
What a great, that'd be an awesome.
He's got to be a white guy. Come on.
He would
and from
absolutely
Bowling
fit
Green.
in Northeast Ohio, a guy named Harold.
I can see that Tony's been on a riff of names here in the chat room. Yeah, exactly. I mean, see, he knows how to play the Moohead Radio game because he's been around here for so long.
Yeah, Ray Buahuga, man. That was the ultimate.
Roy Buahuga. Yeah, he's a Spock, remember?
And Stephon Marbley.
Stephen Marbley, yeah.
Stephen Marbley.
Oh my God. And now Double P saying people want to re-sign, or is it resign?
Resign, I think. I think he's right. resign.
Jedrick Wills. Oh God.
Yeah. So, all this stuff about, well, the Browns, maybe they really are going to go offensive. And it's going to be a bunch of tight ends again. They're not going to draft Travis Hunter because he can help them. They don't want somebody who's going to help them.
Or they'll draft Travis Hunter and then they'll make him a fucking cornerback. Because,
right. That would be the other thing they would do. And he'll get crippled and have like 8 concussions in his rookie year, and that'll be the end of it.
He'll be a kick returner and get killed in the preseason.
They'll turn him into Travis Benjamin real fucking quick.
So, with the Browns out of the way now, I can sit back and say, could it possibly get worse? The viewers are saying. And I love the fact that the viewers are diminishing on this program. I love that fact.
It's just a few diehards that are left that you can't get rid of.
I mean, the truth of the matter is, this show, it never was really relevant, but now it was. Before it was irreverent. Now it's irrelevant. Okay,
yeah.
It's not like Jesse Jackson. It was irreverent, but now it's irrelevant.
Well, it certainly ain't intelligence, so that's good.
Yeah. And I'm adamant that I'm not Adam Ant.
Wow.
Thank you very much. So at any rate, you thought it couldn't possibly get worse, but it can.
It will. We can dig deeper. We can find a new level of shit.
Yeah, the Cleveland Guardians. Here we go. What stood out in the 4-2 loss? Ben Lively actually pitched a pretty good game, but the bats were, except for one swing of the bat, the Guardians couldn't do anything against a pitcher who has made a career. Lorenzen, he has made a career out of destroying the Cleveland Guardians. It's an amazing story because he's a guy who's 33 years old, but he looks like Cy Young whenever he pitches against Cleveland. But here's what the headline was. Nothing Little League about Daniel Schneeman's dash around the bases.
That was a fun play.
It was a fun play, but you know something? There is a lot Little League about Daniel Schneeman. This is walking, talking, warning track power. This is a guy who doesn't field his position well because he doesn't have a position. And you know what I've been screaming about for the last 2 weeks on X, besides, getting a guillotine and cutting Donald Trump's head off. Besides that, what I've been talking about is, why is Angel Martinez rotting in the minor leagues when he's vastly more talented than Schneeman? He's a second baseman by trade, and it's like, the Guardians, well, let's put him out in the outfield. He's hot right now in AAA, and we can always send him back, and that way we can hold on to his rights a little longer. And we'll just make him out there, put him out there because our center fielder is Lane, Thomas, and he is hurt his wrist. So we're going to go ahead and put Angel in center field and laugh our ass off. And who's laughing now, folks? You're taking away Daniel Schneeman's running around the base because the Royals were playing, God knows, I don't know what game, hot potato with the baseball. And that's what you remember from that game. Angel Martinez is whacking the ball. He's making diving catches. He's throwing. Did you see the play where he threw the runner out?
No.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great play.
No.
But the throw, how fast the throw was? That they measured it from the outfield that nailed the runner. 104 miles an hour.
Ooh.
Now, why is he rotting in AAA? And when you see him out there, you know who he reminds me of?
Chico Simon.
No.
Jack Palance, his twin brother.
The one that he reminds me of is Deion Sanders. He's got the chain around his neck. He's cocky. He's arrogant. He looks like he belongs in the big leagues. And, and the Guardians can't figure it out. It's like, Well, when we brought him up last year, he hit, but we sent him back down. He didn't hit. Then he was terrible in spring training, so we sent him down there, and he started to hit. So we figure we need as much help as we can with the lumber. So we just bringing him up for this little short while until Lane Thomas gets healthy, right? And he's hitting, and he's fielding, he's doing everything. Has anyone considered the possibility that he knows he belongs in the big leagues? And that when he plays in the big leagues, he does well. And when you waste his time and send him to the minor leagues over and over again, that he just loses interest? Could that be a possibility? And it's not like we're overflowing with great outfielders. Lane Thomas is not a great outfielder.
Well,
It's just amazing. I don't want to hear about Daniel Schneemann. I mean, that sounds, you know what that sounds like?
Oh, I can probably guess.
Like a Yiddish guy. Schneemann. What the hell? You give me a guy named Schneemann, he's Butkus. The guy's Butkus. And not, Bupkis is a Yiddish word for nothing. So Schneemann is Bupkis. Right?
Wow.
He's 28 years old, and if it hasn't happened by now, and I don't know why we use these examples all the time, but it's like the guy who David Fry, he had his moment in the sun, right?
Yeah.
But you cannot believe that David Fry is a great big league player. He was, and they're going to bring him back when he's healthy, and he's going to hit 235. Because that's what he was in the minor leagues. And they can assess pitchers. I mean, Luis Ortiz looked like a real big league pitcher out there. He really did. I mean, he struck out 10 guys. He had a lot of movement on the ball. You could see Emmanuel Clase saying, how's he doing that? How's he getting the ball to move? Because God only knows Clase is like,
how to do it.
I mean, it's the same windup, but the ball comes out of his hand, Clase, and it's flat. It's just fat and it's flat. And guys are barreling the thing up. And there are statistics on the miles per hour off the bat against Clase this year. Scary, scary shit. And if this continues to trend, you have a guy who's got a dead arm. And if you have a dead arm, we already know who is the guy, Vinny Pestano.
Vinny Pestano.
When you have a dead arm, you can't hide it from anybody. And you can still be throwing 97 like Clase is, but there's no movement on the ball whatsoever. None.
Yeah, it's just quick batting practice. So.
And according to, Stephen Vogt, Angel Martinez adds electricity to the Guardians' outfield. That would have made him very useful in a Nazi concentration camp.
Wow. Wow, you went there. You should have a voice for Stephen Vogt. What would be a good voice for him? Yeah. Oh, not the Bronx voice.
He just... No, the Bronx voice is, everybody's
dead.
Yeah. The Stephen Vogt, I can't even tell you what his voice would be because he just has this look. And then when somehow they pull it out, he smiles. But the whole game, he's just kind of looking. He doesn't look like he's a man of many words.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Rick May is correct here.
Boom. Right into their hot zone.
Out of the field, yeah.
They know, it's like they know what's coming. They've studied him, and he's not fooling anybody.
I mean, half of his baseballs are now part of the Starlink satellite system, floating out in space.
It would be one thing, it's like we don't know if Tristan McKenzie has just flat out lost his arm, but he can't throw strikes anymore. All right. He is throwing 95 miles an hour, but I'll guarantee you we should have taken the surgery because by opting out of the surgery ever since then, his mechanics are all screwed up, and probably because he's changed the way he throws because his arm and his elbow His ulnar nerve was getting all fucked up, and so he can't throw strikes anymore. But I mean, Class A is the balls. He's not like he's walking a bunch of guys like Tristan McKenzie. He's throwing the ball, and they're just whacking it no matter where he throws it. And they're just blasting through the infield or going out over people's heads. It's
who weighs more, Tristan McKenzie or LaMelo Ball?
That's a good question. They're both Biafrans. So I mean, you know, the
somebody can look that one up.
No, here's one for you. This is an impersonation.
Oh, and LaMelo Ball's got him beat by 30 pounds.
Wow.
165.
What is this, folks?
Oh, is that those Brazilian plate guys with the plates in their lips?
No. This is Tristan McKenzie.
Thank you.
Choking on a grain of rice. Thank you.
Wow, that is cruel.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's malnourished. I mean, for God's sakes. But again, it was interesting watching Luis Ortiz because he looked terrible in spring training. He looked terrible in his first start. But man, he was really controlling his off speed. He had a good live 95 mile an hour moving fastball, the slider and the off speed stuff, the changeup. They were all working for him. And for him, it's going to be consistency. But he has the arm. But, you know, trying to turn McKenzie, now they're saying, well, you're going to have to do it out of the bullpen. And he'll walk the bases loaded. You can't bring him in.
Yeah.
And with the new rule that you got to stay in for 3 hitters, you know,
Yeah,
he's never going to get the first out or the last out. So he'll be in there for some time. But the Guardians have done, by and large, a really good job as far as working with pitchers and getting the most out of them. And, I mean, Jacob Junis, I mean, a name like that, you think he was an Amish fellow. I mean, this guy is giving them
cards.
He's giving them innings. He's doing the dirty work in the middle innings and doing a really good job. So, I mean, they have a great reputation, so much so that like 4 different members of their coaching staff that were directly related to pitching have gone on to become pitching coaches in the major leagues. I mean, the league sees that there's a method to the madness. But unfortunately, you know, it isn't going to be for Logan Allen, who doesn't have the stuff. And Joey Cantillo looks good when you're putting him in mid-relief, but as a starting pitcher, he doesn't have it either because he's trying to live off 76, 77, 78 mile an hour off-speed pitches to go with a 90 mile an hour fastball. And I don't know about that. And meanwhile, the question is, Guardians Emmanuel Clase a victim of his own past success? Like, no. I don't know where that comes from.
No.
Oh, here's David Talevsky. We'll bring David Talevsky.
Wow,
in.
it's a quintet of cows.
Hello.
That's it, you see. Hi, welcome to the Irrelevant Show.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
no
We're
problem.
all
It's fine
irrelevant
here.
people. The second we choose to come on here. Yeah, that's it. You see, we are
Yeah.
part of this vast majority, but who are willing to admit that we're irrelevant.
Irrelevant, yes.
I gotta ask,
So-
how are you doing this before YouTube?
Oh, there was all sorts of methods
How am I doing this on YouTube?
before YouTube.
No, how before you were
Oh,
on?
before
yeah.
YouTube.
No,
Oh my
blog.
God, I went through
Blog
so many-
TV, Make TV, fucking
You stream.
Make
German
out
TV, Kraut TV, Nazi TV.
Yeah. Sieg Heil TV.
Yeah.
Mad TV.
No, there I could name countless things that we did. What was the one that was the Israeli-based one that they
Oh,
went out of
God.
business because the people coaxed a kid to commit suicide live on their
Oh,
platform?
Wasn't that ANN Auschwitz News Network? No.
wow.
Ow.
This is a brutal show today.
I see someone pushing the report button right now on YouTube.
Wow.
We've talked
Well,
about suicide. Now we've gone.
Yeah,
on.
what was that?
Genocide. We got to do patricide next.
We
And,
got all
Homicide. But
and cyanide.
You know, I think, and you're correct, Rick. The torpedo bat weighs more
Yeah.
than Tristan McKenzie. That is
Was it-
correct.
was it German or was it Israeli that
It was
network?
no, it was an Israeli
There
based,
wasn't those raised. Yeah, there was one.
and but it was for such a short period of time. I kept finding all these different places to try, and it was really touch and go back then. But you know, now I like StreamYard. StreamYard's done well by me, so it's got a good solid backbone, and it has remained under private ownership and hasn't sold out so that it got torn asunder by a big corporation.
Yeah.
So
Oh, for sure.
yeah,
Oh, well,
but at
Is
any
that
rate,
Make TV?
no,
Make
Make,
TV.
TV was German. That was the
Yeah,
German
maybe the
one.
German one, yeah.
We have ways of making your show go off the air. Yeah. No, but that was
Mario
really great.
Tippins.
They had no server in America. That was the problem with it.
Yeah, it was great for me because I boomed through on that.
And, you know, there used to be a little theme song. You know, sometimes I played Cows with Guns. Sometimes, you know, there were little musical intros
Fight
to the show.
for bovine freedom,
Right.
and hold your
Our
head
Jedi,
high,
we will
and run free with the buffalo, or
our die.
die.
That's right. But when I went to Make TV, it was like, do ik nächsten ersten du bin ja. And it's like everyone tuned out.
Yeah.
That was the end of that. No, actually, there were some very nice people at Make TV. And Make TV to this day exists, but only as a storage-based video, like a
Wow.
video container for people. So they're not doing live broadcast.
So you make a
studio
file
anymore.
and then put it up.
Yeah, that's pretty much. There's a lot of people who do that.
Yep.
There is good news. I wanted to share good news with
Good
everybody.
news. You found
And-
Jesus. Where was he hiding?
Oh, yeah, you find him in the damnedest places. You know, it's
He's
like,
hiding behind the drapes. He's behind the
I
drapes.
see you.
yeah, you know,
Jesus, he
it's
knows
like-
me.
Oh God, I remember when that song came out, and not that I had anything against Phil Collins, and I feel really bad about Phil Collins now because
He's
time has
nearly
really
dead.
ravaged him. I mean, really bad.
Yeah,
But I used to
he's
sing
a mess.
"Jesus, He blows me," and it's like people were like, "You're a heretic. We're gonna burn you," and so that was the end of that. I had to say that, and you know why?
Why?
Because I can link this onto X,
Wow.
and I can say something like, have you heard the cover version by Elon Musk, Jesus, He blows me? And then it becomes complete, you see.
Wow.
One day you're just not going to see me on X. You're just not going to see me at all. Nobody hardly does now anyway, because I refuse to get verified. I'm a goddamn cow. Need to be verified. All right.
I think I'm
Here's
the only
the-
one that can find it.
Here's the good news. David Griffin was fired by the New Orleans
I
Pelicans.
saw that.
God
He was there for 6 fucking years. What did he do there?
A legend in his own mind.
Wow.
David Griffin thought he was a genius. And you know what he did? It started out with Zion, and
Super
it
genius.
went downhill from there. 209 and 263. That was, 2 postseason appearances. That was it.
That's Haslam-esque. That is.
And meanwhile, Joe Dumars, the Hall of Famer, is the front runner to become the lead basketball executive with the Pelicans, according
Wow.
to ESPN. Yeah, and you remember
Like
that
with that.
Griffin, huh?
Good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And now Griffin, he was the one responsible for the Anthony Davis trade to the Los Angeles Lakers in 2019, the drafting of Zion Williamson with the number 1 pick. If you remember, the Pelicans got 3 players
Okay.
in exchange for Anthony Davis. Lonzo Ball, Lonzo Gonzo, Brandon Ingram. Can I shoot some more? And Josh Hart. I'm not going to try until I'm in New York, until somebody pays attention to me. And 3 first-round picks, including the number 4 pick in 2019 in exchange for Anthony Davis. And they had all those these 3 first-round picks, and look at the players. Lonzo Ball, who couldn't shoot straight, Brandon Ingram, who's kind of an enigma, and Josh Hart, who really fits Tom Thibodeau's play until you die theory of basketball. So,
speaking of, didn't Budenholzer get fired today? Or
Yes,
did-
he did.
that was the other one I wanted to share with everybody.
Have I spoiled it? No, I've done a spoiler.
No, just get the fuck off here and have your own show. No, there's no surprises. People read the news, and Mike Budenholzer, one season.
He had one season. He had one.
He had what I would call in Phoenix a Jack Palance one thing. That was a year. That's all he had. Now, the truth about Mike Budenholzer, I can tell you why he's not in Phoenix anymore.
Why?
He couldn't find a 35 to 50-year-old woman. Now, this is a story I want to share.
There's a whole bunch of those in Phoenix.
He wasn't there long enough.
Wow.
Well, he probably betted a few, but he couldn't find the one,
The one.
But that was what Budenholzer told his closest associates when he was a free agent head coach and he could go anywhere he wanted to go, that one of the decisions was where he could find 35 to 50-year-old women. I'm not making this up. And this is from a source that I trust, absolutely verified, dead spot on every time. He was looking for ladies. He wasn't coaching men. And they looked terrible, and they didn't want to play for him. And he didn't want to be there. He couldn't stand perspiring because he would strike out with the 35-year-old women. Life in the desert isn't all that it's cranked up to be.
Wow.
But that was good news, too, seeing Budenholzer gone.
You know what's crazier about it? He signed a 5-year deal last offseason.
So he has plenty of capital to find the right woman.
So I believe he said, "Pay me my money."
Yeah, exactly. Double P, before we figure out who we play in the playoffs, any thoughts on the Cavs defense these last 2 months as we enter into the playoffs? When the coach reminds them that they have to play defense, they play defense. Now, there's only one thing that's relevant as far as playoffs. The game changes. The officials suddenly change, and they start bringing out their Lakers and Knicks paraphernalia. It's
what their foam fingers. We're number 1.
It's a fucking drag. The whole thing. I mean, I was looking at the betting odds, and now they're saying, of course, it's OKC against Boston in the finals. And I understand that. But do you know who the next one rising faster than you can imagine? The LA Lakers.
I know. I'm not going to spoil it for you because I know the answer to
The
these.
fucking Lakers. And, it's so predictable. The Cavaliers are still the third most likely. All right. But it's the Lakers who are making the late run on this.
Oh, I'll tell you what shocked me about those odds is that the number 2 seed in the West, the Houston Rockets, are 80-1 to win the championship. There are 6 teams in the West have shorter odds than the Houston Rockets.
Yep.
That is messed up.
Yeah, Well, here's an answer to your question, Double P. There's going to be a change. And I think you're going to see DeAndre Hunter starting, all right? And at the very least, he's going to be on the floor consistently as one of the final five. Here's the problem that I see with the Cavaliers. When things were going really rosy earlier in the season, we get off to these magnificent starts. But more recently, we're getting off to slow starts. And it seems like it doesn't pick up until Ty Jerome and DeAndre Hunter hit the floor. And that's just what I'm noticing. And I know that Kenny Atkinson notices it too. You can't afford to get off to slow starts because it's hard enough as it is to hold your home court, but to win on the road in the playoffs, especially if you're a mid-size market, is really very hard to do. And I would be shocked if we could win a single game in Boston. I would be shocked. Not because we don't have the capacity or capabilities to do it, but they wouldn't let it happen. They would just put them to the free throw line 42 times and they would win. And it's just, but defense as we know it, like moving your feet, playing the passing lanes, that's not what we're talking about in the playoffs. What we're talking about is how many hands you can put on a guy and shove him in the opposite direction.
Elbows.
If Donovan Mitchell thinks that he's going to get, rip through kinds of get to the free throw line, he's got another thing coming. If he takes his little jump shot and falls to the floor, they're just going to run the other way and dunk it. And the referee's going to stand over him and taunt him. Not going to get that. So the second season is called the second season for a reason, because the rules change and the rules become more favorable to the teams that the league wants to win. You're not going to tell me that the Lakers are a defensive juggernaut, but if you let them get away with 3 times more of the physical contact than the teams they're playing, they will win. So that's my concern with the Cavaliers, is that we are not a physical defense. We're a move your feet kind of stay in front of your guy defensive team and try to sucker people into the lane where they come at Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. But too often we've been getting burned in the second half of the season from teams hitting open 3-point shots and hitting high percentages from the 3-point line. So, yeah. And, yeah, the Rockets are 27-1 is amazing.
That's amazing. That blows my mind.
And Rick knows what I know,
Well, we've all said that. So
yeah, this is something that is not new, and I guess it's just what it is.
Are we
The real
ready to
question
move on?
is,
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead.
How's
David.
Donovan's ankle going to be?
Well, he was going through a full practice just yesterday. I don't think that the ankle is going to be a problem for him, but they actually ran him through a practice and he reported nothing. So
There you go.
and we're waiting. Now what is it? Tomorrow that
Sunday.
the play-ins start, right? And
Yeah,
are we
Tuesday, but we don't find out our opponent until Friday night. because of
right?
the way that-
But we're going to play on Sunday,
yeah.
which
Yeah.
is the day before I leave to go to Ohio. So that's good because by the time I get there on Monday, I get to watch the next game as well. I'm not going to miss a game being on an airplane, which is kind of nice.
Wow.
And
I think we're
called
going to get the Magic in the first round again.
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, the Magic are number 7, and I don't see.
They could end up playing Boston. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, you might be right there.
No one knows what's going to happen.
yeah, I think we do pretty well know that the Pacers are very likely to be who we play. That would be what I'm gathering from all of this, but nobody.
after we beat the 8th seed or 9th seed or 10th seed or whatever.
Yeah,
by
well,
first
yeah,
round.
right. I'm talking ahead. If you're talking about the play-in teams,
I
then,
don't think that matters who we play in the play.
Atlanta and Miami, and who's the other one?
I think
Chicago.
Chicago.
Chicago Bulls.
The Bulls. Yeah. I don't see the Bulls possibly getting in. And Double P thinks it's the Cavs and the Hawks. I think it's going to be
Maybe.
I think it's going to be the Heat.
Yeah, me too.
That would be my guess. But again, now is the play-in team that gets through? Is that a 5 or 7 game series? Because I am old and I don't remember.
I believe it's 7.
Everything's 7.
I believe it's 7 now.
Eh,
Let's
maybe
drive back
season
when Michael
lasts
Jordan
longer.
played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. There are going to be some worn-out players in New York if they make it that far.
Yeah. I think they're going to get beat by the Pistons. I really think the Pistons are going to take the Knicks out.
I hope they do, because that'd be funny.
I think it's going to happen.
I don't, because
But
JD Bickerstaff will find a way to fuck it up. I'm sorry, but
if there is that, I mean, I'm not going to really dispute that, but I can see the Knicks fucking it up too.
All the accolades go down the drain when, I mean, the Knicks have shown that they're very capable of coming out and starting out games with pressure defenses and doing what they have to do that way. But, if Cade Cunningham is throwing up 3-point bricks, and who's going to lift the Pistons beyond Cade Cunningham, who is their best player? And do you think Jalen Duren is going to be able to handle getting crushed by Mitchell Robinson or whoever? And the Knicks will be fouling at will. They don't have the composure because they don't have the experience of being in that situation. I could see the Pistons winning a game or two. I could see that, but I don't see them winning a series against the Knicks.
They got Schroeder and Malik Beasley, and
Schroeder's where he is for a reason.
Yeah, I mean,
and Malik Beasley is a guy who can get hot, but so can Sam Merrill. But you see what happens the rest of the time. It's kind of like he's going to keep shooting. Malik Beasley is not going to beat anyone defensively, and he's out there to chuck the ball up. And if it's not falling, the Pistons have had many games this year where it goes back to the roots of JB Bickerstaff, which is defense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they got Stewart and Duren at center, so I don't know. We'll see what happens.
If they're allowed to push off and shove, because Stewart is just a guy who's a bull in a china shop. And Duren's had a nice year. I mean, it's not that I have anything against the Pistons. I just don't see anybody who's going to be able to move the dial for them at the critical time in the postseason. That's all. I see a lot of players like the Josh Harts, the Jalen Brunsons, and guys of that ilk who have been there and done that. And it's going to be the physicality and youth angle against been there, done that. And usually in that first year of that kind of playoff contest, the mature team wins.
Well, I mean, if the Knicks come out and win the first 2 home games, then it's definitely all over. But if the Pistons win one of those first 2 games, then I think the Knicks could crumble.
Well, the thing is that the Knicks are 0 for the season against the good teams, the best.
Exactly.
Teams.
Yeah.
But Detroit's not one of those teams. All right. And, if you talk to a Knicks fan, my neighbor across the street is a Knicks fan, and we talk NBA all the time. And what he's saying is what I'm saying. And that's that you got to dance with who brung you. And Jason Brunson, what's Brunson's first name? Jalen Brunson. Oh, yeah. He's a guy who's going to dribble down the clock. Tom Thibodeau loves him because he shortens basketball games because he plays all of his players 40 minutes. But Jalen Brunson is a guy who will back his man down meticulously to get a mid-range jumper and take 20 seconds off the clock, consistently doing it without really making more than one pass. It's they're not going to be able to hold leads because they come out empty too many times, because if Brunson is being defended and isn't shooting a great percentage that particular game, and Hart, who hits big shots, but he's got kind of a funny line drive shot, and you start looking at the team and it's like, who is, for the Knicks at the end of games, who are the finishers? And that's what's been startling about the Knicks this year. They've gotten off to big leads against good teams and they haven't been able to hold them. Yeah. And it wasn't just us, it was Boston as well. And, they would get down into the fourth quarter of a game where it was in the trenches. And that's where Thibodeau is supposed to be coach of the year, because, if he gets you down to that half court game where things are slowed down, he's going to squeeze the life out of you. A lot like what the Heat used to do. But this year it hasn't gone that way because they're not converting on the offensive end. The players frankly look tired, and they have not held their home court against really good teams. So,
well, there you go.
Yeah, there you have
it. We got to bring up the biggest weekend of the year for Peter Allis. Oh. Now, did everybody think that Rory McIlroy was going to bottle it in the playoffs?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Rory's got a big chunk of feces in his pants after the 18th hole. Oh, it was all in his hands, the trophy, the fame, what he's been waiting for his whole life. And it's drifting away. A guy named Justin Rose is going to take it away from him. Yeah, then all of a sudden, man.
There you go.
He hits the big shot. You're always one shot away. And it wasn't that Rose hit a bad shot. But, but better is better, And you kind of feel good for him. I mean, Rory's already 35 years old, man.
Yeah. It's sort of like Tony the Calf. I remember when Rory was like 17 or something, and he was going to win like 5 majors before he's 20 or whatever it was.
I remember when Tiger had hair and didn't look like a gargoyle.
Wow.
He looks more and more like his father the older he gets. His father was a fucking gargoyle.
Wow.
Why is he still golfing? Huh?
Yeah, he's still golfing, and he's going out with Trump's relative. I mean, well, you couldn't be.
I think we've already gone through that before.
No, she's a hoe. She's a hoe.
Oh,
honest to God. I mean, did you see who she was with? Ali Baba El Hamid, or one of these fucking guys. I mean, I don't. Just make it stop.
Make it stop.
Well, the thing for me with Tiger is I don't think he can move all that well anymore.
Well, didn't he just rupture his Achilles or something like that?
Well, no, I think David is referring to in the bathroom.
Yeah, can't move all that well.
In the bedroom either.
It's a problem for older people, I tell you. Yeah, Tiger shouldn't still be golfing, but
so who's older, Rory McIlroy or Tony the Calf?
I think Rory's got me by about a couple of months.
Wow, so you're a 35-year-old calf.
Yeah, he's a bit tough and chewy.
Wow.
Now. And look at him. He's winning golf majors, and I'm fat in Minnesota.
Well, I'm fat too, but that can't be a reason for failure. I want you to know that. You could, in your case, Tony, I mean, I understand that you're a little bit behind the 8 ball, but you could win a scratch and win card, and you could get lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know what's around the corner.
Yeah.
You never know.
Keep shooting, cowboy.
I don't think any of us are going to be the next Jimmy Haslam because we have too many brains in our head.
Jimmy,
I wouldn't because then I would have to find my cousin.
Yeah, I just
Wow.
can't believe,
Nor
honestly.
do I want to buy a football team.
Yeah, people talking about Elon Musk. And look, Elon Musk is intelligent. I mean, I'm serious. I'm not joking. There's no punchline to this. He's an intelligent guy, but he's also got a tremendous amount of problems. I mean, he's, and he's never identified his problems as vividly as RFK Jr. has. Insane in the membrane. There's a worm in my head. He never got that specific, but there's something amiss about Elon Musk, that he has social disorders and things of that nature. But he's an intelligent guy, and you can see how he's made money because he's an idea guy. But you take Jimmy Haslam, it's disturbing when somebody's worth that much money and they're that stupid. It goes against the grain of everything that's American. I mean, I don't begrudge Elon Musk his $368 billion, even though it's never enough for these people. He wants to become the next movie star or something. He should stay behind the scenes because he's a fucking troll. But the bottom line is, I don't begrudge him the money that he made, because Tesla, let's be honest about it, before he had tried to have a big public image, a good car, and was way ahead of the game, and he made the right moves so that he was the one producing the batteries and all of that good stuff, and he was going to get ahead by consolidating manufacturing in such a way that he went with a no dealer approach to begin with so he could introduce the product. Made a lot of right moves. Jimmy Haslam, on the other hand, hasn't made a single right move, and look where he is. And look at Tony the Calf. He falls asleep during oral sex.
Thank you.
And
no,
when
do we have to keep bringing that up?
No, when he's giving too. That's the really strange.
Wow.
The other thing about the Teslas, they seem to hold up better than most.
Lockjaw.
How many years ago was that now, Tony? Was that like back during the Pat Shermer?
It's like
It was a
16
long
years
time.
ago, man.
A long time
I know,
ago.
but you know how it goes. If I was fat then and I'm fat now, you can criticize me for the same stuff that you 16 years ago that you could criticize me for,
Oh, you
and
don't
in that
follow
time my
chair
marriage
anymore.
went down the shitter. You can say all kinds of things about me over the course of the last 16 years. But
that's
the thing that made Tony the Calf great was that he told us that live on the air. Go ahead.
Yes.
So-
he did.
I know.
Am I the only one?
I know we're running late, but I have to say I had a hearty chuckle the other day. I was watching some random basket. I think it might have been the Cavs game or something, and the thought of the video of Spinner Dave looking over his camera, going, "I gotta go mark by." Came back to my head, and I just roared.
Oh, he had to
laughing.
go, all right.
He
He
had to
had to go
He was
for
He
gonna,
was
a
like,
getting arrested on Mohitter.
couple of years. He had to go.
Just see the cops in the background. Just
Yeah.
Now, I have a question about that. Is that even a crime nowadays? I mean, with the new administration, I mean, could
Well,
you
I
get a
mean, if
pardon?
you probably don't pay for your child for about 20 years, yeah, they're gonna
The
come.
only thing that would have been
You might get
better
a pardon for that now.
than him looking over his shoulder, like, I gotta go, would have been if he was tased on Moohead Radio. That would have just been
That would
prolific.
have blown up all your equipment, though, if that had happened.
The
House
Tom
was
Rex
on fire.
access that
Yeah.
he ends up fawning for.
So-
Yeah, well, they were the Tesla protests here in Sarasota.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
yeah. There are
You
people
know,
lined up around the corner and with all signs and everything.
Wow.
So
For
yeah,
whatever reason, those vehicles seem to hold up a lot better than the General Motors cars do nowadays.
well, Tesla never had a bad reputation until the Cybertruck came out, and the reason is it became a political symbol. I was online looking at reviews of the Cybertruck, and to be very honest with you, it isn't a great vehicle, but it's not the abortion that they say that it is either. It's
Mhm.
it is incredibly ugly. I mean, and I really don't, and it has nothing to do with my feelings politically, but it's an incredibly ugly thing to look at. But at the same time, a motherfucker goes like 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds too. So I mean, there's that, and to get that, you're paying $103,000 for that.
Oh,
The
my God.
problem is that the panels on the vehicle, you know, and I was looking at this so I could be intelligent about this, is that because it's so flat and angular that some of those pieces don't exactly line up. It's a magnet for fingerprints, and you know, and
Wow.
it's also a magnet for letters that spell out "fuck you, Elon," which are usually scratched into the side of the vehicle.
Or
I
starts
think
with
it's
C.
pathetic that people vandalize somebody's vehicle for political reasons. Like, if somebody wants that ugly car and makes a political statement with it, God bless them. I could care less, but it is really, it's not a truck. It's a very odd thing, and it's going to be one of those things. Like, I had an Isuzu Impulse, and that car was basically Giugiaro inspired, the guy who did the DeLorean, right? And Back to the Future car. And that Isuzu Impulse, if you go back and take a look at the Isuzu Impulse, you'll see the similarities of the rounded end and the shape of the car and the headlights of the car. And, you know, I think that it was a look that came and went. And I think that's what's going to happen with the Cybertruck. I think he's going to continue to crank out Teslas that look like cars. But this one was just something that, and I think it's been associated with the political aspect of things. But, you know,
I would
and yes,
expect
there have been
that he
many
might.
calls. Yeah,
I would expect he might try to get into the SUV market.
you never know. And you know, but Ron, you're correct. There were some major recalls of the vehicle. It seems that they pushed that out to market without having features that should have been in the final edition of the car, and like speed control on the car. You know, it wasn't there, and there's like a coming soon on the dashboard. And there was another one. I forget what it was the lane recognition thing that was, you know, if there was somebody, you know, coming into your blind spot, that wasn't available upon the release of the vehicle. There were a lot of things that it seems that they were trying to rush it out, because I'm convinced that Elon Musk knew that he was going to become a political figure, and that was going to help the sales of the vehicle. So you can put it all together, but hey, if you enjoy the car, buy it. It's not worth $103,000, but what is today? You know, all these things are not worth what people are paying for them. I got to get out of here. Shit, it's 6:20. I'm done.
You do everything on your list today.
Hey, thanks everybody.
Before we
Hammer
go-
Time and Moose and Tony and David Zalewski. And thank you, viewers, for continuing to support a program that will not sell its soul to the social media gods. I won't do it. And one day I'll be gone and you'll be, whoopee. But you
We'll be
know,
like, no,
I fought the honest fight, you know. You know,
cows with guns, and we will fight for bovine freedom.
nothing wrong with the
And
Tesla
hold
Rubber
our
City.
large heads
Not a
high.
Cybertruck, though. He bought it before he was crazy. Yeah, he's crazy.
Crazy for
Crazy for feeling.
Man. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back again on Friday. And I want to let everybody know that I'm leaving for Ohio along with my beautiful wife.
I thought you were going to say
And-
your beautiful dog.
Well, no. My dog is, you know, he's a
He's
handsome
beautiful.
hound, but my wife is a beautiful wife. See, I wish I could pull her in front of the camera here. You would not recognize Rox. You would not recognize her.
Wow.
But she just got back from, taking the dog out for his afternoon walks, and it's pretty hot outside. I wouldn't do that to her. But one day she'll surprise everybody by coming on camera. Not like that.
Coming on camera.
Oh, God. Turn the camera off. Turn the camera off.
Mark.
No, but you'd be shocked. But yeah, so we're going up to Ohio. We're gonna be leaving on Monday, the 21st, and getting up there, and then it's all summer long, and I'll be setting up my studio up there.
So what if you get up to Ohio and you find out that your city is gone?
I'll have to go to Cahoga Falls. Yeah. All right. I gotta go. Really. Thanks for tuning in, and we will be with you on Friday. Until then, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.